Hey guys, it's KJ from the Scariest Movie Ever channel on YouTube. President Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu have signed an agreement with the United Arab Emirates. Here on my channel, we focus a lot on symbols, symbolism, subliminal messages. So when I first saw this coin, it really blew me away. This right here is yet another example of the occult forces that work in the shadows in this world at work. It's similar to money magic. Money itself is sigil magic. The New World Order put its plans on paper and they called it money. Millions of people around the world are carrying this around in their pockets. Money itself is a primary example of this sigil magic, lesser magic. So it's interesting that they chose to place this imagery on a coin. Once again, we're back to money. And here they are showing us their plans on this currency. From a very basic standpoint, when I first looked at this imagery, I couldn't help but notice, starting from the base of the symbol as it works up, you see the sword itself starts to disintegrate into all of these different symbols. What's most interesting is the symbol they chose at the top, or it's the symbol at the end of the road. All of these symbols leading to the dove of peace. Peace and security, peace and safety. But what comes after that? Saturn. Some of you may not understand the significance of this, but Saturn represents Satan. It goes back to Rome. They worshipped Saturn, celebrating Saturnalia, and the Greeks worshipped Kronos. Same deity, both represent Satan, which leads to the black cube. You also need to understand about the black cube of Saturn and the connection to the Jewish priests who wear the tefillin or the black cube on their foreheads. It's also interesting to note that we find the black cube in Mecca. And here you see the Muslims walking circles or rings around the black cube of Saturn, Satan. So leading up to this peace and safety and afterwards Saturn or Satan, we find that the sword guard is wrapped in prayer beads. Prayer beads only serve one purpose, and that's to count repetitive prayers. Both Islam and Catholicism share their love of prayer beads, which came from pagan traditions. On the guard of the sword in the middle, we can see the Babylonian sun wheel, and this goes back to Rome again and pagan worship. It's also known as the Wheel of the Year. And then we have the satellite dish with Wi-Fi and binary code. This seems to reflect our current state of Big Brother surveillance in some ways. And next we have the gears. The gears go back to time, and that goes back to Saturn. We also have a syringe to represent the vaccine for their crown virus. Moving on from there, we have the date palm tree. And it's interesting, the Latin name for the date palm tree is the Phoenix dactylifera. When you look at all of the symbols on the sword, and so many of them have to do with technology, you may have been wondering to yourself, why is there a palm tree there? And I think I found the answer. It's not just a palm tree, it's a date palm. And what's most interesting about this is that the Latin term for the date palm is actually the Phoenix dactylifera. I believe that's why they put the date palm on the sword among all of the other symbols, showing us their end game. The eagle, sometimes the double-headed eagle, also the phoenix, is a symbol of great power and endurance. The Romans, the House of Habsburg, the House of Rothschild, the Nazis, and the United States have all used this symbol. But more specifically to the phoenix itself, we find that symbolism popping up all over the place. The phoenix as a symbol itself has become a very common symbol for the New World Order, or for this beast system. This last decade has seen a real explosion in symbolism on everything. Movies, TV shows, corporate logos. All of it is coming to light now. In this beast system, the phoenix is a symbol of chaos, total destruction, and then a rebirthing, a rising from the ashes. And this rising from the ashes, this phoenix, is the NWO itself, or that final Antichrist beast system. But as we find with many symbols, they have multiple meanings. It's interesting to note that in Islam, they view the date palm as the tree of life. But in Judaism, the palm represents peace and plenty. And of course, there's also that connection between the tree of life and the Kabbalah. Also, the palm tree was a sacred sign of Apollo in ancient Greece. So of course we find Apollo. Apollo is the sun god. He's another representation of Lucifer, the sun god. Sun god, Lucifer, Satan, Saturn. Something else to consider, finding that palm tree symbol among all of the symbols of technology. Perhaps it's a nod to how they've been placing these 5G towers in these palm trees all around America. Also, looking back on the sword, we find satellite, 5G, Wi-Fi, NASA. And all of those symbols are leading up to the dove that represents peace. I believe this harkens back to what the Bible says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes. And lastly, we find all of this symbolism connected back to another example of the occult, or hidden in plain sight. The Denver International Airport murals. They've since covered up the Denver Airport murals, but you can still find pictures of them. These murals are another example of hidden in plain sight, also of lesser magic and predictive programming. So here we find this figure, and he has the eagle on his hat. In some ways he's resembling a Nazi or fascism. He has the same sword from the coin, and we also find the dove here. Of course, in this mural, this figure is killing the dove or destroying peace. Right here on this mural, we can see the effects of the phoenix. Total chaos, total destruction, the death of peace, and then after peace comes Satan or Saturn. Just like money, just like all the symbols we see in movies and TV shows and corporate logos, their plans have been in front of our face all along. Steadily and more quickly now over this last decade, we're seeing all of these pieces come together and fall into place. Everything is moving quickly now towards the end game of this beast system. Total control and total enslavement of humanity. So now that you're seeing all of this right before your eyes, I hope you've made your choice. I don't show you these things to put fear in you. I show you these things so you can make a proper choice, make proper decisions, and understand what time it is, what's happening right now. And as always, I thank you for watching my video. You guys take care out there, alright? And I'll talk to you again here real soon.